I don't know about you all, but I'm kind of on edge when it comes to Trump's inauguration that's supposed to be going down in about a day or so. Not sure when you're watching this video, but I'm kind of on edge about it. Now, to be clear, I'm not paranoid out of my mind. It's not like I'm sitting in my house paranoid. It's not like I'm making quick last minute desperate changes because I'm on edge. You know what I mean? It's just this gnawing feeling that you have in the back of your mind that something could or most likely will happen. And it's not just in the back of my mind. The feeling, it's in the air. A lot of you all feel it too. I mean, ever since the new year, it's been pedal to the metal. No one has gotten a chance to really rest. No one's even gotten a chance to really follow up with their New Year's resolutions because California caught on fire. Then you got the terrorist attacks. All types of stuff is happening. You know what I mean? And if you ask me, all signs point towards something bad happening at Trump's inauguration. Why would anyone think otherwise? They've been trying to take the guy out for months now. We've witnessed multiple attempts on this guy's life. Why would his inauguration be any different? But now they've moved the inauguration inside. And listen, there's debates online as to why this happened. They say it's because of the weather. Now, people who lean more left will tell you, oh, it's because Trump's a big P-U-S-S-Y. He can't handle the cold. Trump can't handle the cold. He's a big baby. Or they'll say that Trump is scared of having a small crowd. Isn't it funny how they always talk about Trump, pulling in small crowds? They act like his crowds at his rallies are small, but they won't tell you that January 6th was small. January 6th was the biggest gathering of all time, the worst thing to ever happen to this nation. They want you to believe that Trump can gather people for January 6th, but he can't gather people for an inauguration. I don't think that there's a lack of people who want to show up. A lot of people love Trump. You might not like him. That's fine. We're all, we all can have our own opinions about people. But I do think a lot of people like Trump. I think that's apparent. He won the election. And I think a lot of people would have shown up regardless of the temperature, regardless of the weather. And in my opinion, I'm not saying that the weather did not play a factor here, but I think the reason they really moved this inauguration inside is for other reasons. I mean, over the past couple of weeks, there have been multiple credible threats that were stopped. Threats against Trump, people trying to get to Trump, trying to do things to Trump. And somehow, some way, some of these attacks, or whatever you want to call them, they were stopped, but the mainstream media isn't even talking about it. Literally, the news has not even talked about it at all. There has been multiple arrests over the past few weeks of people planning and plotting and trying to do crazy things to Trump. Now, regardless if you like the guy or not, if something crazy were to go down at his inauguration, that would affect a lot of people. It's not just going to affect Trump. It's not just going to affect people who voted for him. It would affect this entire country. And I think that's something that people kind of forget. Even people on the right, you might not like Joe Biden, you might not like Kamala. If something was done and if something bad were to happen to one of them as they were in office, it would flip the country upside down regardless, right? So, I mean, the last thing we need is for our country to be destabilized by something like that when we got all of these enemies kind of waiting to pounce, right? So in my opinion, I think much of the reason why they moved the inauguration inside is because they're most likely aware of some very credible threats. Some of those threats, I think, would be including drones. Yes, the drone story that we've talked so much about, I think a lot of this is coming full circle. Because sure, you could put security in place that would stop an armed, crazy individual from getting close to Trump, even though that hasn't worked in the past. Sure, you could try to do that, but how would you be able to stop the drones? We know these drones have been flying over the East Coast. We know they've been flying over his golf courses and properties belonging to Trump. Who's to say that they wouldn't try some type of crazy drone attack at the inauguration? And who's to say that there wouldn't be people on the inside that would allow it to go down simply because they hate Trump or they hate what he's about or what have you? So, in my opinion, I think there are some threats that we're not necessarily being told about. And the reason I feel like we're not being told about it is because we weren't really told about the last few threats that were supposedly stopped and arrested. So, I don't know. I feel kind of off about this entire situation. But then the other half of me is like, you know what? For something bad to happen at Trump's inauguration, that would be too on the nose. It's like everyone is expecting this. And usually you want to strike when it's least expected. So, I mean, I do have mixed feelings overall, but what we have to understand is this. I think we have the reality is we have crazed individuals in this country who are acting alone, who want to take out Trump, who are willing to do crazy things. And also we have the deep state. We got people within our own country, within our own government that want to take out Trump as well, including some of these three-letter agencies. So while the deep state and these different people within our own government might not strike at the inauguration, that wouldn't stop other crazed individuals from doing so. But all in all, I'm telling you right now, we're not getting the full truth about what's going down. And I do have a very uneasy feeling about the days to come. It's not just about Monday. It's not about Tuesday. It's literally over the next few weeks. I don't know what to expect, because if the last 6, 7, or 8 months is any indication of what, is to come, then it's going to be a lot of chaos. There's going to be a lot of crazy things happening. And I do believe there's a lot of crazy people who would have loved to target the inauguration. Now, the inauguration being inside, maybe nothing will happen now. Hopefully that's the case. But I'm still just not sure. Because it was reported, right, that these local police departments in D.C., they're refusing to provide security for Trump in the inauguration. This is something unheard of. At least I've never heard of it before. But all of these local law enforcement agencies whose job it is to literally do things like this, they're refusing. So for some odd reason, it's like all of these people whose job it is to protect the public. Listen, if you're at Trump's inauguration doing your job as a police officer, you're not just protecting Trump. You're protecting everyone. And it's not like you're just protecting Trump supporters. You're protecting the hordes of, how can I put it? At the inauguration, it's not like it's just going to be packed to the brim filled with people who support Trump. All of Trump's biggest haters are going to be there as well. The mainstream media will be there in droves. So as a police officer, when you're there doing your job, you're not just protecting Trump, you're protecting everybody, and not just people who voted a certain way. So all of these police departments, it seems as if it was a coordinated effort. They all came together and decided, hey, we're not going to do our jobs. We're not going to protect the inauguration. Why is that? Why is that? So now Trump has had to hire private security. Trump, the president of the United States, is having to hire private security teams because the police refuse to do their job. Now, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. If that doesn't make you go, I don't know what will. I mean, listen, replace Trump with Democratic nominee here. Whatever Democrat you love and worship, place them there. If the police refuse to protect them and do their jobs, you would think something is up. So I want people to be able to approach this story. And listen, Trump is such a pulverizing figure. Everyone either loves him or they hate him. But take Trump out of the equation, place politician here, and then think about this. You would think that this is a red flag. You would think there was something shady going down if it was someone that you supported. So knowing that should be enough to tell you that, hey, maybe there is something here. Maybe there is something weird going on here. Now, if you're someone that thinks that this is a bit of a reach, I would assume that you have not been paying attention to what the mainstream media has been talking about for the last few days. Because nonstop, you could go Google it, you could go do your own research, every news outlet that you can think of for the past 3 or 4 days, they've been putting out article after article about, oh my God, there's threats at the inauguration, lone wolf actors, this could happen, that could happen. The mainstream media is basically desensitizing people and putting it out there on Front Street to fully expect an attack at the inauguration. This is not me overreacting. This is not the other people who you talk to on social media overreacting. No, we are just noticing what is going on. Like I said, I got this weird feeling. You could feel it in the air. And if you look at the media is talking about it. The media is focused on it. The media is basically prepping people for something big or bad to happen. But if that's not enough, if you still think that this is a bit of a reach, that's fair, okay. I would refer you to one of the videos I put out a few days ago about the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security putting out a public service announcement. That's right. The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, go Google it, they came together and they put out a public service announcement basically telling people and warning people that attacks are going to happen soon. They put it all out there right on Front Street. And I don't think that it's a coincidence that the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security released this statement about a week or so before the inauguration. And now, every day, as the days go by and we're counting down, new articles are popping up every day, everywhere, about, oh, the security here, the security there. We already know the Secret Service failed him before. Now we know several police departments are refusing to secure the inauguration. Now we know he's having to hire secret, or not secret, but private security teams. I don't know how much we can trust that. But all I know is this is not an overreacting when you're basically just, hey, pointing out what's going on. Because the media is telling us something's going to happen. The FBI is telling us something's going to happen. The Department of Homeland Security, they're all telling us, hey, something's going to happen. Here's a heads up. So should I just ignore that? Should I totally ignore those warnings? I don't know. But I do think, I will say this, to be fair, the argument can be made that, they control us by fear. Scare tactics. We're controlled by fear. The fear of something possibly happening. A lot of people are scared and they look to the government. They look to the same agencies that are causing these problems. They look to them for solutions or for protection. So I do think, and I will say this, even though I do have a lot of bad feelings about the inauguration, I do think that there is an effort here in this country, maybe in other countries as well, to constantly keep people backpedaling in fear, scared about when the next big thing is going to happen. But, can you really blame people who are scared? When every day they wake up to another crazy, tragic news story every single day? You can't blame people. But the reason I bring that up is because my mind is open to that possibility. My mind is always open to all possibilities. I might not talk about and mention and label and list every possibility in every video, but understand I'm an extremely open-minded person. And chances are I've already looked at or considered things through that angle or from that, from that direction, if you will. So when I look at what's going on, part of me wonders, is this all just a big fear scare tactic? Right? But I think it's safe to say that we can't look at everything as, oh, they're just trying to scare us, when hell, there's crazy-ish popping off every day and people are doing crazy things every day. So regardless, it's not like we're in a winning situation. It's kind of a lose-lose situation here. I know a lot of people will be happy when Trump's inaugurated, but I don't think that we're going to head into like this fully peaceful, change and transition. No, I think we're going to see a lot of bumps along the road. And I think that we're going to see more attempts on Trump's life throughout his presidency. And we might not see it at the inauguration, but maybe next time the guards are down. So hopefully the guards aren't down. But maybe that's what moving the inauguration indoors is about. Let's move it indoors. Nothing bad will happen. Everyone will let their guards down. Everything will go back to normal for a few months, and then bam, right? You just never know these days. But for now, let me know what you think about all of this down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Brainstorm. That's what this video was. Just me going over some of my thoughts. And you're free to go over your thoughts in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell. And I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.